Hello, and welcome to another episode of Your Message podcast. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you what it's really like being a work from home mom, and I'll be completely candid with you. I have not prepared for this message at all. I have not written any outline or done anything to pre-prepare for this message. I just wanted to sit down and speak from my heart and speak from what I'm feeling in the moment as a work from home mom. And not have any pre-decided things that I wanted to talk about, but just chat with you. And I hope that's totally okay with you. So without waiting any longer, let's dive into the episode. Hi, friend, and welcome to the Message Podcast. I'm your host, Katie Graham, a wedding photographer and lifestyle blogger who just launched my own magazine, Your Message Mag. I'm determined to help women just like you lean into the messes of their lives and find the message they have to share. Here we believe that secrecy helps no one, but transparency and vulnerability have the potential to help many. Get ready for some encouragement, to be inspired, and to be given all the tools you need to share the unique message you have to share with those who need to hear it most. This is the Message Podcast. Do you know what your love language is? My love language is definitely gift giving. I love giving gifts, and my favorite way to give gifts is purchasing gifts through Artifact Uprising, an online printing company where you can create customized gifts for those that you love. Throughout the whole year being a new mom, I've had parents and in-laws asking for their gifts to be photos of Beckley, and Artifact Uprising makes that super simple. Plus, for my dad on Father's Day, since it was his first Father's Day as a grandpa, I created a personalized board book full of pictures of him and Beckley straight off of my phone. Nothing fancy, guys. And Artifact Uprising makes it super simple to upload those photos, add them to a book template, and then print it, order it, and so it's ready to go to give to the ones that you love. I have a lot of friends ask me where I recommend getting photo books or printing, and if you're looking to do it yourself, the DIY method, then Artifact Uprising is always the place that I recommend. This is even the place where I go to purchase gifts that I get for my couples. Go to katielaurengraham.com/artifactuprising for $20 off your first order. Again, that is katielaurengraham.com/artifactuprising for $20 off your first order. You can also click the link in my show notes. So if you aren't familiar, I am a wedding photographer by profession. That is my full-time job. And this time of year is what the photographers call their quote-unquote quiet season. And to a degree, that is true. I agree with that because we aren't going out and shooting weddings. We aren't doing nearly as many sessions. It's a quieter time of year as far as shooting goes, but that doesn't mean that it's any less busy from a work perspective. It is a lot more time in my inbox doing inquiries and emails and contracts and timelines and logistics. It's a lot more time on the computer doing that kind of work versus shooting and editing. And so I believe there's this misconception, which honestly I fell for this for a while, where, you hit the quiet season and it's going to be easy. It's going to be a cakewalk. It's not going to be difficult to be a mom and do work because, it's the quiet season. And what I have come to realize is that's not true. The busy season when I was in weddings, that was extremely difficult, and I am taking steps in the future to change that, to make it easier. I actually I touched on this in a past podcast episode where I talked about changes I'm going to be making in business in 2022. I've decided that I'm going to be outsourcing my editing, and that is going to take a huge load off my shoulders when I'm in the busy season, and hopefully make being a work from home mom much more feasible and enjoyable. So that I'm not just treading water, but I'm actually actively swimming in it. But I won't lie, that busy season this past year, it was extremely difficult, and I hit burnout more times than I could probably count. I just felt like shutting down. There were many times when I told my husband Jackson that I felt like I couldn't do it, that I wasn't cut out for this, that I felt gypped, that people had told me it was possible to be a work-at-home mom and to raise your child while you were working full-time, and I felt like I couldn't. Now I am on the other side. I did make it through, and I now have a game plan for the upcoming busy season, which will start in May, to make it more feasible and doable and to avoid that burnout, hitting that point over and over, and hopefully be able to be not only a better wedding photographer and a better professional, but also to be a better mom for Beckley. But the big thing, I feel like I just went on a long tangent about the hardships of being Katie Graham. It's not an easy thing, and I don't want to discourage anybody with this podcast episode, but rather equip you and encourage you and let you know that if you find yourself in a similar situation where you're working from home and you're doing a full-time job or even a part-time job, and you're also being a full-time mom, and you feel like you're drowning and like everything is hitting you from all sides and like you just can't keep up, it's okay. It's temporary, and you aren't alone. I am out here trying to do everything I can to do my business well, to grow my business, to serve my clients to the best of my abilities, and to be the best mom that I can be, to do the job that God has given me with Beckley well, to be a good steward of our home, to try and actually have a clean home that I've cared for. So there are a few truths that I want to share with you about being a work-from-home mom. The first is it's a privilege. It is a huge privilege, and anyone who tries to tell you otherwise, or if you ever try to tell someone else otherwise, it's incorrect. It is a monumental privilege to be able to be home and work while you're being a mom. That is a huge deal. Now, are there days where I wish that I had a quote-unquote traditional job? Oh my goodness, yes. I'd say probably 2 to 3 days a week. I tell my husband that I am going to have him stay home and I'm going to go and do his job, even though I have no idea how to do his job and I would fail miserably. Just the thought of going to an office and talking to other adults and working on things and being productive together in a team type environment. Oh, that just sounds amazing. Like, even as I'm saying it now, that I crave that. But even on the days where I am craving that kind of stimulation, that kind of a work environment, I recognize that the situation I am in, my circumstances, are a huge privilege, and I should not take advantage of them, and I should recognize that I am extremely lucky. So that is the first truth that I want to say about being a work from home mom. It is a huge privilege, not denying that at all. Secondly, it is shockingly difficult. I am a very high capacity person. When I am in a healthy state, I can work at an extremely efficient rate. And I like doing things quickly. I love being efficient. I love working at maximum capacity. Like, that is very exciting for me. And that is not a possibility when you are a mom. You can get a lot done when you're a mom, but your maximum capacity in a professional state is not going to be happening, because you have to share your time with another human being who you are parenting. You have to share your time with your home that you're going to have to be pouring into, because when you're the person who is home more often, that responsibility falls more on you. So it is not easy. It is very difficult, and it can be very frustrating. And that's just a reality of the situation. But the third truth that I want to share with you about being a work from home mom is that it is so rewarding. And I am getting a little emotional as I'm saying it now. But it is such a rewarding thing to be able to be the parent who is home with my daughter every day. And I get to be there when she takes her first steps. I get to be there when she's learning to eat solids. I get to be there when she tries mac and cheese for the first time. I get to be there when she's playing with her toys. I get to do her morning time with Jesus with her. I get to be that parent who is home with her for all of those things. I get to take her outside in the morning to go sledding with her dogs and watch her giggle. And I get to stand there with my iPhone and take videos of her and share them on Instagram, knowing that when I share them on Instagram, my husband, who's at work doing a traditional job, he gets to see those moments. because he's not home with us. He is home in the evenings, but that is like 2 hours, 2.5 hours tops with her a day. And I get a solid, she gets up at 8 in the morning, goes to bed at 8. I get a full 12. I get 10 more hours at a minimum a day with her than he does on normal weekdays. And it is such a blessing in my life. So is it difficult? Yeah. Oh my word, yeah. There are so many days where I say that I can't do this. It is too difficult. But it is a huge blessing as well. So if you find yourself in the position where you are working from home and you are a parent as well as a professional bringing in that income, and you're hustling hard and you're just trying to do everything you can to do your work well and parent well and steward your home well, and you are just feeling trampled on and downtrodden and you're starting to wonder if you're depressed. There are so many times where I've looked up the symptoms of depression to see am I depressed? If you're in that situation as well, take a moment and take a deep breath and realize this is a blessing in my life. Not only is it a privilege, a privilege is a fact, but the blessing, that's an emotional thing. And when you think about the blessing that it is in your life and what it has given you and how it has brought you joy and how you're pouring into that little child, that's the point where you can keep going and where you can realize, I can do this. Maybe not by my own power, but with God's help, yes, I can do this. Because I'm in this situation because he allowed it to happen. And so if he allowed it to happen, then he's not going to abandon me here. He's with you. He is with me. And he is always going to help, even if by your own power you can't make it through, which I can almost guarantee that with your own power you're not going to be able to make it through. With his, yes, you can. So those are, I guess, 3 truths that I wanted to share with you about what being a work from home mom is really like. Again, I had no outline for this episode. I seriously just grabbed my mic, plugged it into my computer, and I'm sitting at my dining table as Beckley is taking a nap on the other side of this wall. Thankfully, the dogs are both taking a nap too, so I actually had 20 minutes of quiet to record this episode. I hope that this impromptu, very casual, unprofessional type episode was encouraging or helpful for you. If it was, let me know on Instagram. Shoot me a DM and let me know if you enjoy this episode. And if you haven't written a review yet about this podcast, then please write a review. That would absolutely make my day, which actually reminds me, let me pull up. I saw a review the other day that a girl, Claire, who I actually went to college with, that she left, and it was so sweet. So let me find it. I'm scrolling through my phone right now as I look for it. Here it is. Claire was so sweet, and she gave the podcast 5 stars, and she said, I loved listening. I can tell everything said is intentional and important to the message. And that means so much to me. Claire, thank you so much for leaving that review. I really appreciate it. That made my whole week. And speaking of hard weeks, last week was one of those weeks where every day I was saying, Jackson, I can't do this. And obviously I did make it through. I'm still here today, and Beckley is still here today. And by God's grace, both dogs are still here today because, my goodness, I was about ready to sell the puppy last week. And that's another story for another day. But when I got that positive review, it gave warmth to my heart, and it gave me encouragement, and it showed me that what I am doing matters, not just for my daughter, but in a professional sense, it matters. So if you feel led and you enjoyed this episode, leave this podcast a review. It would mean the world to me. And thank you so much for listening. You can follow me on Instagram at Katie Lauren Graham. I am on my stories just about every single day sharing videos of what life is really like being a work from home mom. All right, I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening. Bye. Have you ever felt like you're called to more in life? Do you desire to encourage others? Have you experienced a mess in life that you wish to share with others to help them grow and feel less alone? I created Your Message Mag for driven, encouraging, and servant-hearted people just like you. Your Message Mag is my new lifestyle magazine focused on bringing encouragement and inspiration into the lives of others through impactful storytelling and seasonal content. Each issue features guest writers with powerful, impactful stories to tell. Get ready to experience the first magazine you'll not only read cover to cover, but will also change your life. Subscribe to Your Message Mag at yourmessagemag.com. Again, go to yourmessagemag.com to get your first copy. The link is also in the show notes. Thanks for listening to the Your Message podcast. Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, make sure you're subscribed to this podcast and leave a review if you haven't already. This really helps with encouraging the podcast apps to share this with other people to maximize our impact so we can help as many people as possible. Also, if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to screenshot this episode and share it on Instagram. Make sure to tag me at Katie Lauren Graham so I can share in the excitement with you. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.